So bad. The dark and the light are both bad, guys.
You're not paying any attention at all, are you?
So, for good or ill, this response video by Synthetic Man to Ragnarok has attracted a lot of attention, mostly negative, and that is well justified. So even though I am skeptical of the EFAP approach, I will be agreeing mainly with their very visceral approach here. So what is the problem? Apparently he thinks Ragnarok is woke, uncreative, and more signs of the soy boys that Sony propagandizing the youth to hate white people or masculinity or whatever. And what's the evidence of this? Well, I guess first up, they're reusing some old characters or old enemies, but he doesn't seem to understand why this is a bad thing. But how is this a bad thing? He doesn't quite say, but he's going to try and fail.
It's fucking lazy. It makes the game feel like the last game. Have you never played a sequel in your life?
It's so weird. He has footage of Dead Space on screen.
Dead Space.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, man. Dead Space absolutely reincorporates enemies from old games.
Here's a challenge. What sequel does not?
Super Mario Brothers 2, but it's kind of not.
Wait, they don't have Goombas in Super Mario Bros. 2?
No, it's because it's not.
Koopas?
It's not really
Super
a
Mario
Mario
Brothers
game.
2 is, yeah, it's not technically Super
It's a
Mario
port
Brothers
of a
3 would
Japanese
be.
game called Doki Doki Panic, but
Well, if he's making a tautological point that, you shouldn't just use everything from a prior game, that's correct. But then again, we look at the Super Mario Brothers series. Yeah, I think it's kind of expected that you will have Bowser. Some of the minions before will come back. What's wrong with that? Or with Link, Legend of Zelda, or even other games like, yeah, you're facing Dracula, Castlevania 1, may fight more vampires, more zombies. Certain features that came up before will be repeated. That's not a sign of lack of creativity. I mean, oftentimes they do tweak things. There's some differences. Enemies are given more powers, more abilities. Settings are changed. Music and graphics are improved. So he's just being a little silly. But then the charge of the feminist communist conspiracy supposedly is undeniable because God of War is now getting much less bloody. And I'm going to turn down the volume because here it's pretty clear he's just misrepresenting what's happening. So it's a bit of a punchline, but you have to be patient.
Beheaded, bisected. I don't even know what that would be called. Detentacled. Stomped.
Oh, fucking
Tail.
Yeah. No gore, man.
I'm headed.
Yeah, there's the wolf.
Because they're scared of gore.
There's no gore anymore, even though clearly, depending on how you play things, you can see plenty of blood, and it is rated M. So I guess for him to be vindicated, it should be a hard M. This is soft M, and soft M equals communism, feminism, Joe Biden. I don't know. That seems to be what he's maintaining. It's not bloody enough. Well, I don't know. You can maintain maybe it's less bloody than the original trilogy, but really, there is quite a lot of blood, so I'm not clear what he's saying.
Or who would have thought? In fact, actually, if you're asking to hear the dialogue, again, you're part of the problem. Your opinion is shit, and no one should take you seriously ever again on any video game.
Very true.
Fuck, I wasn't paying attention. Who's Freya talking about? Chat, fill me in.
If you're not paying attention here, god damn.
Yeah.
Well, you have to look at the dialogue because the dialogue's in the game. You can still say it's a bad game. Dialogue that didn't quite work, but it didn't come out of nowhere. So your editing is just insanely deceptive. So repeatedly, it just seems he doesn't know the game very well. He doesn't know the internal mythology. He's misusing words and concepts. And when people point out counter evidence, he's like, yeah, but so what? But that's my point. There's too much dialogue. There's not enough blood. There's not enough fighting. Even though there's plenty of blood and plenty of fighting. Are you saying that if there's too much dialogue that equals women, and too many women that equals feminism and communism, and male characters talk too much, that's showing that they're not really strong and tough and masculine? Like, male characters cannot speak at all. There should be minimal dialogue. I mean, by that standard, like Tetris, which has no women, is like the most alt-right game of all time. So I don't know what to do with all this. This just seems like a lot of rambling by a complete moron. But it is at least worth looking at just to laugh at, because it is hilarious. So I don't want to tell people to see the video to help them, but it is really insanely funny. So if you don't believe me at how insanely stupid he is, well, there you go. Take a look for yourself. It is quite a sight to behold. And that is Synthetic Man on the alleged wokeification and all the men being turned into little girls in the latest iteration of Gods of War.